Chapter 1. A peaceful village is located at the base of the hazy mountains, bathing in a soft early morning light. Suspended clouds blend seamlessly into distant peaks. Quiet houses, lush green spaces and a gracefully winding distant river across the valley. The dim peep sound of the birds, the shaking of the soft trees in the breeze, and the smell of the flowing river creates a calm and calming atmosphere beyond the boundary. A flock of birds rises gracefully, gliding through the open sky. Their wings slice through the mist with effortless precision. In perfect unison, they move as one, symbolizing harmony and the natural flow of life. The soft flapping of their wings echoes through the air, as a gentle gust of wind sweeps them into the distance. At the entrance to a quiet Buddhist temple, surrounded by long old trees that gently bobble in the breeze. Vibrant flowers bloom along the stone path, while some leaves float gracefully on the floor. The temple stands in unison with the natural ocean. The sound of soft wind and melody resonates weakly, increasing the calm of the atmosphere. Tao slowly ascends the temple steps. Sagging shoulders, his face reveals deep anxiety and sadness. He keeps his gaze firmly on earth, as if the weight of the world pressures him. His slow and heavy steps resonate quietly on the stone stairs, fostering the loneliness and burden that surrounds him. Tao still hurts and gently blurs, attracting all the focus to the doubt and grief written on his face. Tao's voice breaks the stillness, soft and full of quiet frustration. Tao is in himself feeling lost and wondering while everyone around me seems to have found their way. Why do I feel so insignificant? And around him the sound of dim winds resonates on the horizon, where these are signs of a deep sense of internal turmoil. From the temple garden, immersed in soft golden sunshine that liquidates the canopy of lush trees. The garden explodes with vibrant flowers and sweetly bobbing plants, while a small stream flows in front of Tao's eyes coming from nearby. Which made sunlight dance, as Tao felt a calm and sacred atmosphere. In a quiet environment where the distant peep of birds, the sound of spectrum water roar, and the occasional rustle of breeze across leaves, calls for a sense of calm and serenity. Tao is squatting next to Mr. Chen on a stone seat, his body is tense and his face is saddened. In contrast, the monk remains calm and anchored, exuding an aura of peace. The difference between the two is clear in their body language, Tao discomfort against monk's stillness. On the other hand, he hears the soft swish of leaves that fosters the quiet of the moment, deepens the contradiction between the internal Tao conflict and the presence of the quiet monk. Close-up reveals Tao's hands, fidgeting nervously in his lap. His fingers twist and turn, betraying the anxiety and internal turmoil he is trying to hide. Tao's tension remains high, highlighting tension in his turbulent movements. A faint fidgety sound is accompanied by a distant call for a bird, skillfully amplifying the stillness and discomfort. "Oh, Master, I am not happy. Others around me have more wealth, better lives, and brighter futures. I feel lost and insignificant." His voice is soft, broken, almost a whisper, as if he's ashamed to admit his feelings. The vulnerability in his tone amplifies the depth of his inner struggle. Mr. Chen's face appears quietly. His expression is quiet, and his eyes are full of gentle compassion as he listens to Tao. A small understanding smile appears on his lips, radiating warmth and wisdom. The air fills the soft resonance of the distant wind, enhancing the monk's peaceful presence. Mr. Chen is seen listening silently to Tao's confession, his face calm and patient. Without interruption, it offers a gentle smile and a slight gesture, acknowledging Tao's pain without judgment. Nature's quiet hum continues, with the subdued sound of the stream quietly flowing into the background, increasing the clarity of the moment. Master Zhen rises slowly and gracefully from his seat, his movements calm and deliberate, embodying his deep wisdom and inner peace. Sunlight filters through the trees behind him, casting a gentle glow on his figure. The soft sound of his footsteps on the stone surface accompanies his movement, while the serene garden remains undisturbed. Tao looks up at Master Zhen with a puzzled expression, unsure of the monk's intentions. He hesitates briefly, caught in uncertainty, but the gentle warmth of Master Zhen's gesture encourages him to trust. A slight breeze moves through the garden as Tao inhales deeply, attempting to calm his restless mind. Mr. Shin Tao escorts and shows them walking side by side through the beautiful garden. Lush greenery and vibrant flowers line Chapter 2. Way, symbolizing the journey towards healing. Sunlight dances on the ground as they move, creating a quiet dreamlike atmosphere. The soft sound of their steps on the ground blends with the delightful peep of birds in the sky and the far flow of the current, wrapping the scene in a quiet atmosphere. Mr. Chen and Tao approached the edge of the park, where the dense forest begins. It shows towering trees lined with forest, casting long shadows across their trajectory. This move from the sunlit open garden to the shaded forest symbolizes the unknown journey Tao is about to embark on, under the direction of Mr. Chen. As they approach, the soft forest sound increases, blending seamlessly with the quiet sounds of the garden, creating an atmosphere of anticipation and mystery. The edge of the temple garden appears, where the road leads to an ancient tree with thick branches and covered up to the sky. Browsing sunlight through leaves, it casts spotted patterns on the ground below. The vibrant colors of the garden contrast beautifully with the tree's rugged bark, creating a stunning vision. The theft of soft leaves, accompanied by distant bird appeals, promotes a calm atmosphere, which calls for a sense of calm and contact with nature. Tao and Mr. Chen appear side by side under the old tree. Tao looks at branches, a hint of confusion on his face, as Mr. Chen stands calm and centered, embodying his wisdom and patience. Gentle whispering of the wind rushes through the branches, creating a quiet soundscape enveloping the moment in calm. A crow appears sitting majestically on a high branch, its bright black feathers shimmering in sunlight. The raven exudes a royal presence, commanding attention to its stillness. The soft rustle of its feathers adjusts its position with the distant sounds of nature, creating an atmosphere of quiet greatness. The raven's face appears, affirming his sharp eyes and elegant feathers. The camera lingers, capturing the intensity of her gaze and her royal presence. The soft sound of a gentle raven breaks silence, adding an element of effects to the moment. Mr. Chen is shown turning slightly towards Tao, with a nice smile on his face, attracting meditation. His behavior radiates calm and wisdom, encouraging Tao to reflect on his feelings. Mr. Chen says, "What do you see, Tao?" The question permeates the whispering of the wind slightly, creating precise background hum. Visual, Tao returns to himself and reflects closely as it takes a moment to gather his thoughts. His expression shifts from confusion to more thoughtful behavior as he considers his answer. Tao replies, "I see a raven. It's just a black bird, not as colorful as a peacock or as dumb as a nightingale." His voice appears as he bears a hint of disappointment, reflecting his struggle to appreciate the beauty of the crow. Mr. Chen shows his quiet and reassuring expression as he listens to Tao. His eyes convey understanding, slowly nodding, encouraging Tao to look deeper. Mr. Zane, but the raven holds a strong secret. Pay careful attention. At the time the soft leaf rustle and distant sounds of the garden hear a backdrop that reinforces the importance of the moment. Tao's reaction appears as he shifts his focus back to the raven. His expression changes, arouses curiosity in his eyes as he leans slightly forward, eager to understand. Nature's sounds seem to fade in the background, creating a concentrated atmosphere while Tao listens attentively. The old tree appears, the raven floats confidently on its branch, and Tao and Mr. Chen stand underneath it. Sunlight creates an aura effect around them, symbolizing enlightenment and understanding. The gentle breeze sound blends with the swish of leaves, enveloping the quiet of the moment and the impending lesson awaiting Tao. Chapter 3. The raven appears close and is stable on the branch of the old tree. The bird tilts its head slightly, its eyes sharp and concentrated, its black feathers shimmering in sunlight. Tension in his body indicates that he is preparing to take off. The soft sound of wind rushing through the leaves intensifies as the bird crowds, ready to spread its wings. The raven prepares to fly open its wide, shiny wings. The movement is smooth, thoughtful and full of grace, and it is preparing to lift the branch. Sudden buzz suggests that the wings that cut off the air are fragile and sharp, indicating the beginning of their journey. Tao follows the raven gracefully ascending to the sky. The silhouette of the bird is framed against the blue stretch, showing its liquid and powerful movements as it slips effortlessly into the air. Where the wind picks up in the background, bearing the sound of the bird's wings flutters, while nature's soft tinnitus continues below. Tao's face, wide eyes and slightly separated lips appear as he watches the raven fly. His expression shifts from awe to meditation, as if he is beginning to realize something deeper. The faint echo of the crow's wings can still be heard flapping as the wind hurtles down Tao's face. Raven bird high in the sky, shaded against sunlight. Its journey is smooth and free, cutting through the vast blue sky like a shadow. The wind rush is accompanied by the flowing movements of the crow, where its wings are easily divided into the air. Tao's face appears with the rise of cognition on it. His eyes soften, his eyebrows relax, and his expression becomes quiet. The raven watches, realizing that his freedom is her strength. The sounds surrounding the garden become more distant, almost fade when Tao absorbs his ideas, and the flap of the wings still exists weakly. Mr. Chen stands quietly next to Tao, staring at the raven. His face is quiet, his presence is based on wisdom. He speaks quietly but with quiet authority. Mr. Chen then says, "The raven does not want to be a peacock, nor does he crave singing like a nightingale." And it says it in a voice that clearly carries over the rustle of soft leaves, a quiet presence amidst the quiet sounds of nature. The raven appears as it slips effortlessly, higher in the sky. Their movements are liquid and free, unimpeded by the weight of comparison or suspicion, as they fly with purpose. It highlights the rhythmic rhythm of the wings versus the air, almost soothing, accompanied by the distant sounds of nature. Mr. Chen shows me his calm and wise behavior. His eyes remain focused on the sky, but his words are for Tao, bearing the weight of deep understanding. Mr. Zane then says, "She knows and embraces the beauty of her freedom. Just like a raven, you also have your own goal in life. Comparing yourself to others will only lead to grief." Mr. Chen's voice continues to fade as a soft leaf swish acoustic, indicating the depth of his message. Tao's face changes and his expression is no longer overloaded with sadness or confusion. Instead, he wears a soft and quiet smile, as if he finally understands the lesson. He looks at the sky full of a sense of calm and acceptance. The echo of the distant raven call appears, indicating Tao's new sense of purpose and freedom. Under the shadow of the old tree. The sunlight is quietly filtered through the branches, creating a quiet and discouraged light around them. They both sit on the floor, and the surrounding garden is quiet. The movement of gentle leaves and the chirping of distant birds creates a quiet background atmosphere. Tao began to merge and appeared squatting, his head slightly bent in deep thought. His face reflects a sense of introspection and constant sadness as he reflects on the lesson of the crow. It listens to the dim fall of water from a close stream accompanying the soft leaf rustle. Tao's conversation reveals his weakness as he looks at Mr. Chen, his brows slightly curly. Her lips squeeze together before finally asking the question that weighs on his heart. Tao wonders, "Sir, how do I stop these feelings of sadness when I see others living a life that looks much better than mine?" Meanwhile a soft Tao sound comes out, tinged with frustration and longing, blends with the gentle sounds of nature. Mr. Chen listens as he sits quietly on the other side of Tao. His eyes are focused, and his attitude remains calm and coherent, demonstrating his deep understanding and sympathy for Tao's struggles. Mr. Chen listens attentively to Tao. Mr. Chen's eyes appear to capture their warmth and wisdom. His outlook is constant, reassuring and full of understanding and empathy. The slight flash of his eyes indicates that he is about to share something deep. Before he speaks, Tao feels the quiet sounds of the park slightly blurred, allowing a moment to feel more intimate. Mr. Chen appears as he begins to speak, and his expression is soft and thoughtful. His voice is calm and measured, and he resonates wise as he looks at Tao gently and says, "Whenever I feel sad, Tao listens to the story of Raven." Nature's soft and rhythmic sounds play in the background, adding to the atmosphere of calm. Tao is very focused listening to Mr. Zane's words. His expression begins to soften as if the monk's wisdom slowly sinks. His eyes expand slightly, hinting at a growing understanding. He continues to hear the continued rustling of dull leaves and the calls of distant birds, adding a calming rhythm to Tao. Mr. Chen continues his kind interpretation and quiet and wise expression. Sunlight floods his face, reinforcing the sense of enlightenment and peace he embodies. It teaches us that comparing ourselves to others is like chasing the wind, it just leads to frustration, he says. Tao Ali listens to soft and unobtrusive sounds, allowing Mr. Chen's words to be fully frequent. Tao begins to think deeply, and his face reflects the internal transformation that happens inside him. His attitude is more relaxed now, expressing meditation rather than confusion. The weight of the comparison seems to be rising. However, he feels a nice breeze passing through the leaves, as if reflecting the lightness that Tao begins to feel. Mr. Chen appears in his quiet and peaceful expressions as he finishes speaking. His quiet face and eyes reflect a deep understanding of human nature. And his expressions allowing the wisdom of his words to be stable. Chapter 5. The temple and its surroundings appear as the sun sets behind the mountains. The sky is a beautiful blend of soft pink, orange and purple, shedding a warm and quiet glow over the scene. The light reflects on the rooftops of the temple's homes, giving the atmosphere an almost quiet and ethereal quality. Where gentle evening sounds, distant bird calls, tree rustling, soft breeze, create a quiet atmosphere. Tao stands on the edge of the temple's land, looking at the horizon. His posture is comfortable, his face bears a peaceful expression, a stark contrast to the weighted appearance earlier in the story. We listen to the evening winds whistling quietly through the trees, adding a calm feel. Tao's face is seen with a quiet smile, and his features have now been tempered by understanding and acceptance. His eyes reflect the sunset, glowing with warmth and inner peace. With continued gentle wind whispering, enhancing a sense of calm and satisfaction. The sun sets behind distant mountains, throwing long shadows and showering in the sky in deeper degrees of pink and orange. Mr. Chen then says, "Just as the raven accepts his place in the sky, should you accept your place in this world?" Mr. Chen's voice is quiet and wise, echoing the surrounding sounds of nature. Tao's hand, relaxed on his part, shows his fingers no longer fidgety or clenched. His body language reflects his peace and his newly discovered acceptance. As it listens to soft peeps of birds and incendiary leaves create a quiet background to this moment of stillness. A group of crows appear flying high into the sky, shaded against a colorful sunset. They fly freely, and their graceful movements are unhurried and easy. The flight of crows is accompanied by the smooth, distant breeze, which increases the feeling of freedom. Tao's face shows him watching the crows with a soft and understanding smile. His eyes follow their journey, expressing quiet satisfaction, as if he is finally grabbing the monk's message. While still listening to the sounds of nature quietly, the crow's wings flutter in the distance. Another shows sunlight that dips down the mountains, and finally throws a golden glow over the landscape. Mr. Chen then says, "Let's compare, and you will find the lightness of spirit you seek. Embrace your way, because it's for you alone." Mr. Chen's voice then disappears between the natural sounds of dusk, allowing the lesson to resonate with Tao's peaceful situation. Tao stands against the backdrop of sunset, its shape shaded by dull soft light. He looks small compared to the vast sky, but his presence seems ingrained and at peace. Then the evening becomes quieter, with only the sound of the breeze and the crow's calls fade. Tao walks away from the horizon and slowly walks back towards the temple. His steps are light and unhurried, reflecting his internal calm. His steps show his steady and confident pace. The natural sounds of the park then overtake him as he walks, indicating his return to the present, which has now been transformed by the wisdom he received. Chapter 6. The quiet temple garden, submerged in soft light, appears early in the morning. The old tree stands tall, its leaves rushing gently into the breeze. The temple glows in the background in the golden dawn light, creating a calm and sacred atmosphere. The birds' distant appeal and gentle whispering of the wind create a quiet atmosphere. Tao appears sitting squat under the old tree, putting it quiet and comfortable. His face is quiet as he meditates, his eyes closed, fully present in the peaceful moment. The movement of soft leaves and the chirping of distant birds provide a soothing sound in the background. Tao's quiet face appears with his eyes closed in quiet meditation. Its expression is peaceful, a reflection of its internal calm. Dawn light gently brightens its features, promoting a sense of serenity. Where nature's faint tinnitus persists, enhancing calm. Tao sits under the old sprawling tree, with the quiet temple in the background and the vast open sky above. The composition highlights the harmony between Tao and its surroundings. Tao sincerely listens to the sounds surrounding the garden, the swish of leaves, the singing of birds, the gently blowing wind, that creates a sense of natural peace. Tao's reflection appears in the sky, where its fixed shape against the backdrop of a quiet glowing morning sky. Whenever I feel sad, I remember the story of the raven, Tao says in a calm, reflective voice, blending with quiet morning sounds. I have learned that true happiness does not come from comparing my life to others, but from accepting who I am. Birds flying across the morning sky appear, their silhouettes identified against golden light. Where their journey, symbolizing freedom and the natural flow of life. Tao then says that he listens to the soft flapping of bird wings and Tao's quiet voice create a peaceful auditory experience. Like a raven, I have my own goal, and I'm supposed to go up. Tao shows his eyes closed, but a complacent little smile forms on his face. His body is comfortable, in total peace with himself and the world around him. The crow appears as it spreads its wings and flies, rising high and high in the open sky. The breadth of the sky represents Tao's newly discovered freedom and acceptance. The raven flies towards the horizon, symbolizing the endless possibilities of life. Tao says, I'm supposed to fly. The bird disappears on the horizon, leaving behind a sense of peace and achievement.